All right, let's get to it as I finish scratching my nose. Welcome to Live with another code and chill, just building out stuff, working on some work stuff. I said work a lot there, or I said stuff a lot, but anyways, it's Friday. That's good. Went for a walk before, and I feel like I'm still a little sweaty, so I feel like I'm kind of like glistening slightly. So if I look kind of shiny, that's why. I also need a haircut. Hope everybody's having a good week. Just gonna drink coffee. This is something funny. When I worked at Dev2, Levi, our podcast producer and engineer, I had him on the Dev2 live stream and just talking about podcasting or like sound engineering in general. And he's like, one of the main things is like, don't drink like tea or coffee when you're on a podcast or streaming because it kills your voice. But I don't know. I just like my coffee. Also, it's kind of like, I mean, even when I'm streaming with guests, it's kind of also like a bit of a prop, but I don't know if it's like for people that used to watch news, but or not used to watch news, but like the local news. I can't remember if it was in the morning. Sometimes they'd have a coffee mug, but either way, I'm gonna drink my coffee. I got some water here. So got to stay hydrated and get some stuff done. Cool, cool. All right, let's see here. Am I set up? Not really, but that's okay. Let's just bring up the big screen here. Also, since this is on my main page here, happy birthday to Jason Langsdorf. If you haven't wished him a happy birthday already, go for it. I'll drop his post over on Blue Sky. I'm sure uh, he has one on X as well, I think, but I'll just drop this one here. Cool. So what have we been doing? We've been doing uh, MCP stuff. So there's a few things we can kind of go over here. So first thing is, so I've been working a lot in this repo. This is kind of our MCP client. I'm gonna drop that in the chat. And whoops, why did it only copy part of it? Uh, if you haven't already, feel free to go give this a star. It's been a lot of fun working on this, but I'm gonna go post this on the old LinkedIn as well. Where is my? I'm trying to see where my screen is, where I have the my web stuff. Where the heck is it? Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, let me just pull that out. Okay, that's why. I had my Spotify in a different spot. Okay. Cool, that's that. All right, now we're good. Got it. Cool. And for those of you who actually live stream on LinkedIn, I found this out the other day thanks to uh, Ian Douglas, who's over at Block. And basically, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't post on my own live streams. And it turns out it's a spam thing. You have to actually have the live stream running on LinkedIn to actually comment on it, which I agree makes sense if you're like somebody that's tuning in, because like they said, they want to prevent spam. You don't want somebody to just all of a sudden just start putting all these comments. But I think it's a little different if you're the one who's actually running the live stream. Like one, as somebody who streams, you typically don't other like you could have the stream running, but like the thing is it doesn't make sense to me because like you're not going to spam your own live stream basically is what I'm getting at. Because like typically I just post it on LinkedIn now in the comments, and basically I have to start the live stream and I can see it running, and I have it muted basically, and that just seems kind of silly to me. So anybody that works at LinkedIn, makes sense as a feature, but if you're the person who's actually doing the live stream or you're one of the speakers on the live stream, I think they don't have to necessarily be running the actual live stream. Anyways, well, at least at a minimum, the person that's running it, the speaker, maybe they want to be listening. Well, no, they don't even want to be listening. They just want to see the comments. So yeah, I think it applies to both. Anyways, first world problems. That's how we roll. Cool. Let me just check a couple things here in the work Slack. And also hope everybody's having a good Friday. Okay, just a question about some marketing stuff. All right, I think we're good. Cool. All right. So yeah, so check this out here and you can see this in action. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna kind of walk you through how I'm developing with this right now. So uh, I work at a company called Pomarium. People that are usually in the live stream already know that, but if you happen to be checking this out and you've never heard of it, we're an identity aware proxy. Uh, in a nutshell, we're really good at securing internal apps, and because of where we sit in the network stack, which is layer 7, so like think of it as like at the HTTP level, we fit really well with MCPs, model context protocol. So we've been securing that. And I'm not going to assume people know what all these things are because I was at at the AI World Fair, and even there, some people didn't know what model context protocol was. So I'll give it a paste in here in the chat, and let's go pop it on the LinkedIn as well. Ba-ba. And in a nutshell, the way people describe it is it says it right here. Just as USB-C provides a standard way to connect your devices to various peripherals and accessories, MCP provides a standard way to connect AI models to different data sources and tools. So it's essentially become a standard. It was created by people over at Anthropic, David Pariah. I think that's how you say his last name. Um, and I can get a link to it. There's some updates to it. But basically, it's just a really nice way for things to communicate. And so, like, if you use something like GitHub Copilot or like Claude or Goose, these all have support for MCP servers now. Um, I'm focusing on remote MCPs. You can have local ones too, but we're looking at securing remote ones or anything that has a public facing URL because what I'm going to talk about today too is like your development workflow. And also, there's this cool project called System Prompt. I'll drop this in the chat. Essentially, this is a mobile app, and uh, you can basically wire up your MCP servers into it. So, and the idea is to kind of be, I mean, you could use whichever ones you want, I guess, but it seems cool that you could be running like agentic workloads locally and then just connect them to run them through an MCP server, and then you can kind of aggregate it through this systemprompt.io, which is an MCP client. uh, Let me go post this over the other channels. The thing with multi-streaming is I think it's pretty neat, but for example, you can't like I'm using something called Restream. Hey, how's it going? Oh, it says LinkedIn user. Let me go and look on LinkedIn and see who it actually is. It'll pop up in a minute, I guess. Let me refresh here. Oh, hey, Ramsey. Good to see you. Oh, yeah, we connected yesterday in the Torque Discord. Good to see you. Um, yeah, I got sidetracked there, but oh yeah, I wanted did that post over there? Yeah, it did. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, anyways, I kind of want to talk about how I'm developing these right now. And so the thing is, with a remote MCP server, like if you want to use it in, say, like Claude or um, the demo app I have, which is using the OpenAI responses API, it has to be a public URL, the remote MCP server. But there's a bit of friction there because you want to develop something and test it in the actual cloud-based scenario of a model. So like Claude or OpenAI. So basically, I'm going to be developing on my computer. I'm going to use some features of VS Code, and yeah, good to see you, Ramsey. I'm going to be using some features of VS Code. I'll show you those in a minute, and that's basically how my workflow is going to be. I have Pomerium running, which I mentioned is the Identiware proxy. It's currently running in DigitalOcean in a droplet, and I can kind of explain how this all goes together. But yeah, if you haven't already, just go ahead and give the MCP app demo a star. And okay, let's open up VS Code. And it's opening on the other screen, which is fine. Okay. What was I trying here? Oh yeah, tool call consolidation. Okay, let's undo all this. Yeah, we'll forget that for now. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is let's clear here. I'm gonna zoom in and let's close this one. All right, and why did the LinkedIn one freeze? Cool. All right. So right here, the demo app is actually a Tanstack start project. So I'm gonna run this locally. So I'm gonna do npm run dev. It's gonna start Tanstack, and you can see it if we go to here on the local host. Everything keeps opening up on my other screen. Let me bring this over here. That's not what I meant to pull out. I meant to pull out the other thing, but that's okay. Here. So this is the app, but there's some stuff missing because right now I'm not connected to Pomerium. So there's the security aspect of this isn't in place right now. So like normally when Pomerium's running, I'll have some information from Pomerium about myself. So it should have my email here and stuff. But this is just to show you that it's running locally. And this is where we're going to leverage some features of VS Code. So VS Code has a really nice feature called port forwarding, and it's built in, which is great. So I'm currently running my app on port 5173, which is the default V port. So I'm just going to say I want to port forward this port. Now it's going to give me a URL, and I'm going to open it, and it's going to load here. And it's going to look exactly like the local host that I just shared. That's expected. Okay, but let's come back here now, and I want to make this public because remember what I said about Pomerium? It has to have public URLs. Well, there's a few things here. This is I'm doing some bug fixes to the MCP client, and it's running through Pomerium. There's a Pomerium domain name that I'll show you in a second here, but I'm just going to make this public, and I'll explain why. Let's open up Ghosty. Okay. And so this is, I'm on my DigitalOcean droplet over here. Let's zoom this in. And I'm going to go to Palm Demo. And let's come back over here. Yeah. So I'm up way too early, Shashi. Hi. Yeah. All good. All good. Yeah. No, I was up at like 6:30 Eastern time, Shashi. I went for a walk already. and yeah, now I'm just doing some live stream. I usually live stream in the morning for a couple reasons. Might not be the best time in terms of like getting a ton of viewers, maybe, but a lot of my teams on the West Coast. Thanks for the follow, Shashi. A lot of my teams on the West Coast. I have a coworker who's in Toronto as well. But basically, I'm all the streaming I'm doing is it's related to my work anyway, so it's technically work. But I do it in the morning because then, like when we have our stand up. Sorry, I'm just fixing my camera here. Um, our stand ups at like noon Eastern, and then like that's 9 a.m. on the West Coast. So basically, it's good to do this more in the morning because then if I have meetings or stuff, um, yeah, I I kind of struggled with this initially, Shashi. It was like when I first started streaming, I was like, I can't stream at this time. My friend's streaming at this time, or I can't stream at this time because like some super popular streamer streams at that time, and after a while, I just gave up on all that, and you find your audience, and it's like you do it when it works best for you. Like, um, I mean, my lizard brain, yes, does want to have like 20,000 followers or whatever, but that's not really why I'm doing it, even though it's nice to have those numbers. But it's just doing work and just trying to share it. And this just seems to be, at least for now, a good time for me to do it. And I have guests on like Shashi. And those are usually it varies because like depending on where the guest is from. Um, sometimes like yesterday I had my old coworker Matt Kane, who's over on the Astro core team now. We did that at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, but he's in the UK, so that was just a better time for him. But if it's people in North America, I'd say usually around 1 p.m. Eastern is when I'll live stream with a guest. Again, it depends, but yeah, this just seems to be good for me work wise and stuff. But to your question before, Ramsey, so there's a couple things here. Building out this demo app for sure is part of what I'm doing here. So let's go to the actual app. So let's go to dev dot or do I have it set up at app dot demo? That should load up. Okay. So let me zoom this in here and I'll explain what's going on here. So this is actually a live URL, like it's not a local URL, so you can go to that. What I'm doing is I'm securing the chat interface you see here, which is essentially an MCP client and with Pomerium. And also we have MCP servers down here that are secured with Pomerium as well. And so what I've been working on is this sorry, excuse me. This chat app was actually a demo for the AI World Fair. So it's not a full-fledged like chat GPT. Like you know what I mean? Like there's no saved conversations on the side and stuff. But it works like, and this is wired up to OpenAI. So these are all the models I have access to. And so I can ask a question, like I always do just like not even leak code, but just general programming questions like what is a linked list, for example. And this is going to fire off. And this is actually using the OpenAI responses API, and it gives me an answer. That's great. That's not really the goal of what this demo app is for. Okay, it's still streaming in, I guess. Uh, okay. Also, it's interesting that it's coming in a little slower. This is something that is hard to control with LLMs. Sometimes it's super fast, sometimes could be delayed, but the answer is streaming in, so you can see it coming in slowly. I'm not sure why it's running like molasses today, but it's it's coming in slow. And we can see the app is still running over here. Yeah, cool. All right. Okay, there we go. Now, just to show you that this is my local dev that I'm doing, and it's actually running at this. So let's change something in the page here. Man, this thing's still going. Okay, so let's go to the chat interface, and or maybe let's go to what routes do we have again? Oh yeah, let's just go to the index route. Okay, oh yeah, it's just the chat component. Let's close Copilot for now. We don't need that. Let's go to definition. So let's just change something on the page, like up at the top or something. Let's see. All right, so here's where it's rendering stuff, and I can just put in, Shashi is awesome. And if we come back over here, you can see there. So this is actually a public URL, like with a custom domain, and I'm doing development. And that's all working because just to go through it again, in the terminal, I'm running tan stack start my app right now. And then what I've done is, so it's running on my local, and then I've done the port forwarding with VS Code, and that gives me a public URL. And this is what where I want to show you how it's wired up to Pomerium. So if I do this and zoom in, there's nothing. Oh, whoops, got to kill that. If we come here, you can see right here. This. Let me zoom it in. So there's this URL here. So the way Pomerium works is it's like I said, identity aware proxy. So like a core part of it is it proxies from a publicly facing URL to typically internal apps. I'm actually forwarding it to a public URL right now because I'm doing development. So like this URL here, if I go to that again, it's gonna load up, but you're gonna see, okay, it still says Shashi is awesome, but you're gonna see I'm missing some information here. This isn't being secured at the moment because it's not going through Pomerium. But if we look at here, you're gonna see I got information about myself here. This is coming from the JWT, like the claims coming from Pomerium, and this is a secured one. So like obviously this is not a production setup because people can still go to this URL. They're not gonna be able to access my information and stuff, but this is really just for a development workflow. And so that's basically what Pomerium is like in the config at its core is really you're just configuring routes. So you're saying like, okay, this dev.demo.maisonlab.dev that points to this URL. This one points to this, et cetera, et cetera. I also have like another one, which is for checking out logs. So I can go to Jaeger here and I can say, find some traces, and I can look up something like this made a call to go get like the model. So in terms of observability, yeah, yeah. So there's authentication. The restream's a little weird here. I'm looking at the consolidated chat and it just says LinkedIn user. Let me go check the actual LinkedIn. All right. Yeah. So yeah, Ramsey. Yeah. So added the authentication. Yeah. I figured it was you, but just checking. Um, Yeah. So, and this is kind of nice. So, there's a few things about, well, in general, people want observability, they want security, but in the agentic era, or all things AI, this is even more important. So the fact that everything's going through this gateway, Pomerium, we're able to actually log everything that's going on, so we can know what prompt you sent, who's sending it, why the request failed, maybe, or like, you don't have access to a resource. It's all going to show up in here, and you can see here. There's some. Don't want to bore you too much, but like basically, you can just drill down in here, and this is just a good way to like get some observability on things to see what went wrong. So we have this MCP one too now, which is nice. So here, so okay, this is nice. This one's new, I think. I got latest from Maine the other day. Um, but anyways, you can see it's just let's see what it is it say here. Okay, I'd have to read through everything here. But anyways, um, this is just a way to Jaeger is just one of the tools you can use. This is just showing all of everything that's kind of going through Pomerium here. But if we get back to here, uh, no, not that. Sorry, Jason. Okay, let's go back to the demo. Dev dot demo. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to go to. Okay, yeah, so it's down because I stopped it, I think. Public. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. It's down. I meant to go to app. This is where we're developing right now. I should change it to the dev one, but anyways, doesn't matter for now. So all that to say is I'm able to have a good development workflow now here where I can test it actually in Pomerium. And the reason why I need it running through Pomerium is because of what I'm trying to test. So like if I was just doing UI, I could just run this locally, maybe even do storybook stories, which I have to add to the project at some point. But um, I actually need to test this connecting to an actual MCP server that we have. So to do that, I need this all running through Pomerium. And that's kind of the why. So not that Shashi isn't awesome, but I'm gonna undo that. Don't want to actually accidentally commit that Shashi's awesome to the repo. Although, hey, could be a little nod, I guess. Okay, so let's talk about MCP servers real quickly. So uh, it's basically think of it as a server that gives you some tools that you can use. So like what like if you're in ChatGPT or Claude, or in this, for example, demo MCP client, and you can ask questions about things. So this Northwind one has some tools. So let's go ahead actually and let me get the MCP routes. There we go. Let's go here. Okay, so I'm going to get a URL for this particular MCP server, and we're going to just test this with something. So let's open up another, not that, down here in the terminal. Okay, we know the server's running, so I'm just going to squeeze that over here, and let's do npx. We're going to run the model context protocol inspector, and just going to launch this. And this is just a testing tool, but I'm going to grab this URL here. And do I already have it in here? And I'm going to connect to it. It should work. This is like some bug, I think, when I don't know why it's refreshing like crazy. Okay, let's don't want to kill anybody there. Okay, I need to add an authentication token in there, I guess. But I should be able to regardlessly get settings. So let's clear this. Let's do. All right, so we can see here. This one doesn't use OAuth though, so let's see here. I don't think this is what I want to test, but client registration, no. Okay, no, I'm not going to test this, but I wanted to see my tools. And why can't I see my tools? There's a reason why, but okay, I'm not going to worry about this too much. But basically, there are some tools here. This particular MCP server is this project. Yeah, it's not a bug, it's a feature, exactly. So my coworker Dennis made this MCP server that's essentially querying a database called Northwind. I'll drop this in the chat if people want to check that out. And I'll just go dropped it over on the LinkedIn. And all right, there we go. Cool. And essentially, this has some tools. So if we look at it, this is a Go project, but I think it's in the main here. So it's just loading a SQLite database, and then there's some tools here. So there's like a a read query. So let's go find where this is. Yeah, MCP server add tool. Okay, so this is using the SDK, but basically we have like a read query tool, we have a list tables tool, etc. And I'm going to show you this in action. So if we come to here, not there, here, I'm going to select this MCP server and I'm going to ask some questions about the Northwind database. And we're using the Northwind database. This is kind of like simulating, is this a, this is our super secret internal data that we're securing with Pomerium, because we don't want just anybody using this MCP server. So you have to be logged in from a Pomerium account. There might be some other policies about if you can access this or not. And that reminds me, I have to change the policy because, well, let's see this in action. I'm going to ask some questions like, what are, or who are our European suppliers? Now, this is gonna get stuck here, and this is expected. This is a UI bug, but the reason why is I can't actually use this tool because I've set a policy on this. And this gets into some zero trust stuff, but if we look at uh, down here, where is it? Yeah. So I've basically said I'm denying access to this read query MCP tool in the Northwind MCP. So um, basically, I can't access it, and that's why this is spinning, because this is a bug. But the reason why it's spinning right now is like the request finished, but it basically couldn't contact that tool because we were denied access to that tool. So let me go fix the policy to say that we can actually use the tool, and then you'll see it actually running. Let's come down here and let's go back to the chat. Hey, oh, you found the Twitch. Good to see you over on Twitch, Ramsey. Thanks. Um, okay. So yeah, what was I doing? Got sidetracked here. Okay, yeah. So let's just comment this out for now. So I'm gonna say insert, boom, just commenting out this policy. Okay. So basically, we're just gonna have we're gonna allow people to use all the tools in this MCP server if they have a pomerium.com or nikiT.co email. So let's just whoops. Let's do escape, right, quit. Okay. Now Docker compose restart Pomerium. Hey, thanks for the follow, Ramsey. Um, Normally, I don't have to restart the Docker container for Pomerium because when you update the config, it automatically reloads. Think of it like hot reloading in Vite. Um, but there's a bug currently related to the MCP work we've been doing that's causing it not to uh, update. So I'm just restarting Pomerium instead. Bug's already been filed and it'll get sorted. So not too stressed out about that. Okay, let's come back here. Let's refresh. And also, because I know there's some front end leaning people in the chat, including Shashi. So, like I mentioned, it's a TanStack start project. It's using ShadCN and Tailwind, obviously, because ShadCN. And it's using the OpenAI responses API. And I think most, if not all, the icons are Lucid React. Okay, so let's check this again. And now I'm going to say, who are our European suppliers? Now, so what's going to happen is this prompt is going to get sent, and we can open up the dev tools if you want to see this. Let me zoom these in. I just have it filtering on fetch XHR so we can see those happen. Let's close that. Let's get some real estate. Okay. So I'm going to ask the question. We're going to get a chat post here, and you're going to see all of a sudden it's going to start streaming in the answer here. So this is, it's just doing some stuff, and then it's going to tell us who our suppliers are. And you can see it literally streaming in. And I don't know why it's running so slow today. It's not the server. I think maybe the OpenAI responses API is struggling a bit, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, uh, I'm not going to stress too much about that because you can't really control latency generally of that, I don't think. So, okay. So, just show you what happened here. So, it did a tool call, and this is just a little enhancement I did where I cleaned up the UI so that it was originally showing like a tool call for every step of the tool call, which was really noisy. And also, they were expanded by default. So I've just added a detailed summary here now. So just native HTML doing that work. Don't need some JavaScript for that. And you can see here. So uh, right now, I'm just showing the JSON payloads because this is like more of a dev tool. But you can see here, okay, it got the tool list from the Northwind MCP, and we can see there's a tools array here. And let's bring this over here, and I can zoom in a bit more. So we can see there's a few things here. There's a describe table tool, there's a list tables tool, and there's that read query tool. And that's the one that we were denied, and I think that's why we couldn't even do anything. All right, so then we can see it makes a tool call to Northwind's read query. And you can see here, this is just information about what OpenAI returned. But we can see here, okay, I'm making this actual database query. The LLM figured out that, okay, I have a tool in this MCP server called Northwind that relates to what I want to know, which is like, who are my European suppliers? And so the LLM, I guess, I'm guessing it got the list of countries maybe before, or maybe it, I'm not sure how it crafted this exactly, but basically it just said get me all the suppliers in all the European countries. So I imagine it probably did another tool call before because this updates as it goes along. And anyway, so then you get all the European suppliers, and that's what gets returned here. And there's one thing I'm wondering is you can see here. So if you've never seen this in action, this literally streamed it in. So um, some of this I named it this way. So I put T colon to indicate that it's a tool. And when it's a tool call, then I render a different I render a different piece of UI. So this is a tool call message. This is a toolbox message. And then this is just a regular message. So when it's 0:, which is the default, that's just the regular messages. And this was just me returning this on the back end as a convenience to detect what kind of UI to render. I could have, I guess, said like if the type has tool or MCP, then like make it a tool component. But anyways, um, but one thing I'm wondering about is this should have rendered as a list because this is markdown, and then we have a markdown. We're using Remark, I think. I forget what I installed, but basically it converts it to markdown to HTML. So you can see here, that's that. Okay, sorry, Ramsey's got a question. How do you compare something like this with Claude Code or Gemini CLI? Is this more enterprise level for managing multiple systems, LLMs, tool access? So to be clear, like what I'm building here it was meant for a demo to showcase how we secure MCP servers at Pomerium. and we used this demo at the AI World Fair, and I also used it as part of the talk that I gave at the MCP Digital Summit. But going forward, this is a really good tool for testing, but it's also pretty powerful because it can do some deep research with like O3 and stuff. But this is not. It's still a very useful tool, but it's not feature complete. Like I said, there's no saved chats and stuff. It's still useful for us internally as well. But I'd say the main use case right now is just so I can develop MCP servers and test securing them. Okay, cool. And you're asking for zero trust, is that implemented on the lower OSI levels of or the network app layer only? So zero trust is like real zero trust because some people will say they are zero trust and they're more like zero trust like, but zero trust runs at the layer 7, so of the network layer, so the app layer, like you're saying. And this is actually super powerful for MCPs because MCP servers run at the HTTP level, so the app layer. So, like securing them with an identity aware proxy makes complete sense. The other thing is like if you're trying to secure things like, you know, if you're a large company and you have a VPN and a lot of companies still have VPNs. Um, Google used to and basically all this technology came out of Google. So Google had a big security breach back in the 2010s. I forget the year, but major breach. Their internal network got compromised because I guess a bad actor got on the VPN somehow. I don't remember all the details, but basically they rethought security from the ground up, and so they came up with something called zero trust. If you look up the Beyond Corp papers, let me find it. So this is something that literally came out of Google. So like this is battle tested. This is like Google approved, basically. And this is like if you ever speak to anybody that's worked at Google or works at Google, they'll know what you're talking about when you say the Uber proxy. So the Uber proxy is Google's internal zero trust security implementation. Sorry, just checking something in chat real quick. Uh, cool. My coworker Sterling just dropped something to me on LinkedIn that I'm going to check out. I'll check that out after. But let me just go ahead and post this on LinkedIn as well. Cool. So yeah, so this is the Beyond Court papers, like I said. Oh, I already posted it. Never mind. You get a double post on LinkedIn. You get a Beyond Corp. You get a Beyond Corp. Essentially, yeah, they literally rethought security and uh, basically came up with zero trust security. So it runs at the layer 7, and there's a few pieces to it. You essentially have, I'm not sure if our docs are up to date with this, but let's go. Um, yeah, we can go to, let's go to 0, I guess. One sec here. Uh, okay, so here, let me just open image in new tab. So, uh, essentially, okay, well, this is Pomerum 0, but like, okay, yeah, that's, no, let's not use that picture. Let's go to the docs. This isn't the best looking diagram, color wise and how it looks. Zero trust is a big at Microsoft too. We're all adapting to it. Yeah, no, that's cool, Shashi. Yeah, my old coworker Den Delamarski. I don't know if you know them. I worked with him at Netlify, but he's working on a lot of the MCP stuff over at Microsoft right now with the with Entra and get what it's called. It's not API gateway. It's something gateway at Microsoft. The name's escaping me, but basically, yeah, with zero trust, this is kind of what it looks like. So before, like let's talk about the old way maybe, and like, you know, this isn't meant to piss off people in the security space, but like Google has basically proven that VPNs aren't really the way to secure things. But there's reasons why you might still be on a VPN. So all that to say is like zero trust with a VPN can still coexist, but ideally you want to move to zero trust. And before before zero trust, you had like people in the office, so they were literally connected to the network. And then if you were working remotely for whatever reason, you would use a VPN, and then you would connect to the work network. And basically, what the VPN does is it creates a tunnel. So, like, think of it as like a cheat code to get into the network, like literally kind of making a hole to get in there. Picture like, I don't know, picture like somebody literally digging a tunnel under a castle, and then just like all of a sudden a hole pops out in the middle of the town square in the castle or something. And then you're in there, and that's how you get in. Um, that's the two ways people would get onto a corporate network typically. Now with zero trust, everybody is just considered you're on the internet somewhere. It doesn't matter if you're in the office, it doesn't matter if you're working at home. And then there's a few things that happen here. So um, Pomerium proxy here, just think of this as a proxy, but the this whole big yellow square here, that is what the identity aware proxy is. So essentially in there you have a few things. You have the proxy, in this case it's Pomerium, but you have a policy engine, and then you have an identity provider. So the identity provider, so like where Shashi's at Microsoft, that's probably Entra, but you know that could be Auth0, that could be Google, GitHub, whatever you use to log in. And so the first thing is like I want to access some internal resource. So like in our scenario, if we come to here, yeah, I basically one, I want to get access to this app. The other thing is I want to uh, not only get access to the chat app, but I also want to be able to access the Northwind MCP server. And we can I can actually show this in a second. I'll change the policy again, but um let's go back to this diagram. So essentially I want to access some internal resource, whatever it is. It could be an MCP server, it could be internal database, it could be, I don't know, some protected thing in your network that you need to secure. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to say I want to access this internal resource. It's going to go and come into the identity aware proxy, which is this big one here, this whole yellow box, the big one, rectangle. And it's going to go, okay, Nick is trying, or doesn't even know who I am yet, actually. It's going to say, like, some user on the internet is, yeah, I can go into that in a sec, Ramsey. So essentially, somebody from the internet says, I want to access some URLs. So that is going to be like, for example, this URL, app.demo.maisonlab.dev. And I probably should have just drawn this out in Excalibur instead of showing you this, but it's okay. So some user wants to access that URL. Okay, let's hit the identity aware proxy. Okay, first things first. Okay, this person is not logged in. Let's redirect them to the identity provider. They're going to do their login. So I'm going to log in through GitHub or Google, whatever. I log in. It goes, okay, you you got authenticated. Let me return claims about you. So the claims about me look something like this. They'll be like, let's open up another tab. Verify. This is just a page to show your claims, but basically I'm going to log in and I'm going to get some information about myself like this. It's going to say like, okay, their email claim, it's ntaylor@pomerium.com. Okay, this is who issued it, some other user information, the audience I'm a part of. These are they can be whatever, honestly. It's whatever your identity provider returns in terms of claims, which are information about you. So we get that back, we get the claims. We get back to the proxy. The proxy says, okay, okay, they logged in. Okay, they want to act. Nick wants to access this internal resource. Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa! Before we do that, let's check the policies. So, is Nick actually allowed to do that? So that's where we come back to here, and we're gonna look at uh, the policy. So let's come here. So for this one here, app.demo maisonlab.dev. That's what I was trying to access. This is the internal resource, this devtunnel.ms link. I know it's a public URL, but I explained that before that this is just for development right now. But here's the policy. It says allow anybody whose email and is in the pomerium.com domain or nikit.co. And I'm going to show you this uh, where it would be where I wouldn't be able to access it. So I'm going to change this to uh, let's just do something like this. Okay. And or actually maybe that's invalid. I don't know. Let's just do this. And I'm going to do write, except I didn't press escape. Okay. And I'm going to restart and let's come back to the app now. I'm going to refresh. Did I stop the app? Hold on a sec. Oh, yeah. I stopped something. Sorry. Let me exit that. Okay, that's running. Did I not? Maybe I killed it or something. Okay, let's refresh this. I think I broke something. Let's check the logs. Um, okay, I'll come back to that. Let me just finish the explanation. So I got claims about me. I'm logged in. The proxy goes, okay, let's check with the policy engine. Yo, policy engine, is Nick allowed to? Okay, well, for the resource he's accessing, and this is a simplified policy, but it goes, okay, it says the policy only allows people from the domain pomerium.com or nikki.co. Nick's logged in with his Pomerium account, so he's good to go. And now we forward the request to the actual internal service, which in my particular case right now is my dev server running. And that's what happens. Okay. But it's not just that. uh, yeah, live coding interviews probably like this. Yeah. I'm not going to get into like interviewing stuff right now, but one thing I will say about this, and if Shashi's still here, maybe he can comment on it too. But I think one of the most important things you should do when you're in a live coding situation is don't just go like, okay, they asked me to do this. I'm going to go code it now. All right. And you're thinking in your head, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm do that. And you're typing and you're trying stuff. But the people that you're live, because you're literally live coding in front of them over like a Zoom or whatever, they don't hear you speaking. And yeah, plan before you code too. Yeah, talk it out loud. Exactly. Yeah, so like all those things where you're like thinking in your head, even though it might not be second nature yet, you want to talk to the interviewers because you're going to be like, for example, like Shashi said, you want to plan it out first. So like you're like, okay, so you want me to so for context, I had to, well, no, it wasn't live coding that one, but at Netlify, when I interviewed there and eventually worked there, it was a live coding thing. And I basically tried to make it a collaborative session instead of an interview. And, my interviewers were awesome anyways. They were future coworkers of mine, but like, I was like, okay, so this is the problem you're having. Okay. So like ask questions, like don't assume anything, you know, uh, and even stuff like I'll say stuff like, okay, like what do you think about this approach, you know, and that's where it starts becoming more collaborative. And like it depends on the interview, I guess. Like they might not give you any feedback, like okay, go with that, sure. But they might say, oh yeah, that makes sense, but have you thought about this, and then then you're in that collaborative mode again. But the other thing too is like I'd ask questions like, do you want me to write tests for this? Like, or I'll say like, given the scope, this is like literally an interview right now. If I was writing this for production code, I would definitely have unit tests, etc. Just wondering what the expectation is here. And sometimes you don't even finish the actual coding exercise, which isn't always a negative thing. It's really about the communication. You do have to know what you're doing to some degree, obviously, but I think just talking it through is super helpful. And I'll be honest, one of the things that's made me a lot better at talking through things has actually been live streaming, because like right now when you were asking like what's zero trust, Ramsey, I'm literally talking through it, and like the first, bunch of times I tried explaining what zero trust was, I probably fumbled, or I did explain it eventually, but it wasn't concrete enough. And like I've been talking about it a lot now, so like it, and I'm just a lot more comfortable about it. And again, not saying you have to live stream, but I've found like live streaming's been an awesome cheat code for me to just be able to think on my feet, and also just, you know, just talk in the moment kind of, which definitely plays well with like a live coding kind of interview scenario. Um but yeah, so like getting back to the zero trust. So hopefully that's clear about like how you get access to the internal service. That's like kind of one thing. The other thing is this literally happens on every request. So like I go to the main page, I get logged in. If I go to a different page in the app, it's going to go through the whole flow again. There's some stuff that's cached. Like it knows like, okay, Nick's logged in. Like I don't need to log him in again. Um, but it's going to check the policies again and stuff like on every request, because maybe something changed. Like the policies can be dynamic. And like I'll give a concrete example. So let's say um I am an engineer on the team, and I don't know, I'm a software reliability engineer, so my team has to make sure, like things are not going down. I'm doing my regular work. I get access to a bunch of resources through the identity aware proxy. But I'm not on call right now. So I'm not on call. So I can't actually there's a policy that says I can't access production because I'm not in the group which is on call, or or the time of day and the day also just is not my shift. So you can have policies that are dynamic like that. Like think about pulling in like say like your pager duty schedule. You can use that in the policy engine. So, you know, it's Thursday. I try to access prod. I can't. 11 a.m. Friday morning, I go on call. I can access prod now. And that's because of the policies, and they can be dynamic, like I said. There's more complicated policies you can have. You can have like, are you on a approved device, time based, like I mentioned. There, I don't want to say it could literally be anything you want in terms of a policy, but you can go from very basic to like what I have in my demo, which is just like, are you in this domain, like primarium.com or nikkit.co, to super complex, dynamic, time based, etc. But that's kind of the nuts and bolts of how zero trust works. And so when you like just keep all that in your head and now think about MCP servers or agentic access. You know, agentic workloads, you know, it's not fire and forget, but it's like you don't know what things have access to sometimes. Maybe they have too much access. So by defining clear policies about what something can do, like the MCP server, you can literally say like, okay, operating on behalf of y- you know there's one thing, there's you the user getting access to it, but then you can also have like service accounts. So like maybe the Northwind MCP, maybe that can actually call other MCPs, but it has certain restrictions on what it can do, and we can literally guard all that. The other nice thing about having the proxy is you could this isn't necessarily like Primarium's job or the identity aware proxy's job, but you could have a layer in there where like prompt injection is a real thing, so like you could filter out or detect prompt injection at the proxy layer, like even before it gets to the MCP server. The other thing is you get information back from whatever your MCP server does, and who knows, like maybe it's super private information, like because I think everybody could probably understand a medical scenario, but like my patient information, like they need information about something, but they don't necessarily need to know who is this patient, what's their Medicare number. I don't know what it's called in the United States. I'm in Canada, but like you could even filter to say like, for all this, you know, personally identifiable information, you could literally filter that out before it even gets back to the MCP client. So, instead of saying like Nick Taylor, who, has multiple years of lower leg trauma from rugby, blah, 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 that could get filtered out to just say, I don't know, male patient, severe lower limb trauma, and like here's the X-rays. So, anyways, these are just examples, but that's literally why we're securing MCPs. We're not an AI company, but it just kind of fits well with all this. And the zero trust can be used for other things too. Like, I mean, we already secure other things, like we secure internal apps, like I said, Kubernetes workloads and stuff. So it's just a really, in general, good way to have nice security posture. All right, so hopefully that's all clear. I got to take a sip of coffee. Now let's go and see what I did to my policy, because I clearly broke something. So I'm gonna do Docker compose logs. Thanks, Ramsey. If anything's not if anything's unclear, let me know, because like part of my job is to actually explain this. And I will say one thing that I still struggle with in terms of explaining all this is I find it hard to give like a 15-second elevator pitch of what zero trust is, because like if I were to give like a 15-second thing, I would say like, you know, it's an identity aware proxy that has these three pieces, and it's really good at securing internal apps. Uh, but that's still like a very general explanation. And then, so you kind of have to go in the weeds a bit. So I'm still working on refining how do I give a really good explanation that is elevator pitch like, without going into too many details to convey what zero trust really is. Oh, you got an ad? Okay, cool. All right. Well, anyways, I'm gonna look at the logs for Pomerium here, and let's see. I'm pretty sure I broke the config. Okay, yeah. So there's a policy error. So this is why that app is no longer running. So one, good observability. I can see what's going on here. So I clearly messed up something in the policy. So let's do, um, let me take this off screen for a sec, because I'm gonna remove something. All right, just going to get rid of something here. Let's open up notes. Okay, cool. All right, let's just delete this for now. Okay. All right, let's get back to fixing this. And where'd my chat go? Okay. Oh, is all the security why the response was a little laggy? No, that's not why, and that's actually a very good question, Ramsey. So, um, the thing with when you have an identity aware proxy is you have it hosted at your network's edge. So like where your infra is. So like all your internal apps, like it's literally like, I don't know, say you host it at AWS or DigitalOcean or Azure, wherever, you're literally going to have this software self-hosted, and then your internal apps so it's like it's all on the same network, but it's only the identiware proxy that's exposed. So it's like literally right beside all your internal stuff. So uh, technically there is lag, but we're talking like a few milliseconds, so like negligible. The lag is either the OpenAI API is lagging, or maybe my DigitalOcean droplet is struggling, which we can check. Let's go see here. Cool. But yeah, just to be clear, in case people were curious, no, the lag is not because of the identity proxy at all. So let's go here. I have a feeling this is, I don't know, it's not too bad. Nothing's really out of control here. So my guess is maybe the OpenAI API is a little laggy right now. Um, Unless there's something else that's causing the lag, but it's not the identity ware proxy. Um, okay, let's close that. We don't need that. Okay. All right, so let's go fix the policy. So what did I break? Okay, maybe let's just delete this. I don't know. Policy from MCP server allowed deny. This looks okay. Let's see here. Let's just take this one out completely for now. Just one sec. Cool. Let's just delete all this. Okay, maybe it's something up at the top. Maybe I added something by accident. Let's just double check here. From that looks good. And while we're here, actually, let's call this, whoops, insert dev app demo. Gonna call this dev, and I'm gonna the production one. I'm gonna make it the app. Okay. Now everything looks okay there. Okay, let's try and actually restart and see. Okay, yeah, routing policy. I clearly broke something, but what? Okay, routes one policy. So VI broke everything. What have I done? Routes 0, 1. Let's see here. You know what I'm gonna do actually? Let's do this. Clear. Let's do cat config. There's clearly something I broke, so I'm just gonna say uh, what's misconfigured in this Pomerium config. The YAML syntax is broken, or it doesn't like one of the policies. I'm guessing it's spaces, but okay, let's get rid of that. Let's see what it says. It's gonna tell me, oh, this needs a space. All right, you go ahead and think. I still get messed up with YAML sometimes. Definitely no YAML expert. Well, that's checking out things. Okay, what does it not like? Multiple keys on one line. YAML treats. Okay. Oh, domain dot is entry. What? Where's this domain dot is? Okay, domain dot is. Oh, this is exactly it. It's spacing. I can see it. It has to be four spaces. I don't know why, but um, where is it? Here. You see how this is over a little bit? So let's do, and that should be it. Let me just double check the rest. That seems okay. Escape, right, quit. Boom. Logs dash F. Pomerium. Whoops. Pomerium dash F. Okay, we are back, baby. There we go. Okay, so let's come back to here. This should load now. Have I broken everything? Or let's go to, oh, yeah, dev. Okay, so this is good. So you see, now I can't access this, and this is because I actually changed the policy. So if we come back to the dev one, which up top here, yeah, you see, it's because I changed the domain here. And so like now all of a sudden the policy kicked in. Yeah, I know it exactly, Ramsey. That's why I feed those things. Stuff like that, I'll feed into like ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot, just to, like one, because like I don't write YAML every day, and also like I know it's something super silly, and this is happening multiple times now where it seems like I don't know why for certain things in YAML instead of two spaces it has to be four, something in the syntax, but all this to say here is like, so the policy got updated and I can no longer access the site now, and that's a good thing. So this is obviously not a dynamic policy, but I just kind of wanted to show you that you could put time based in, but I'm not gonna wait like a minute or something. Or anyways, let's just close this and let's do the restart and let's just get out of here. Cool. And now I'm gonna come back here and boom, of course, something. What did I break down? Reload. Do, do. This is the beauty of live demoing. So let's go. Okay. Oh yeah, would help if I went to the right folder. Okay, error config time. Okay, there's still errors, and I think I might have messed it up when I edited it, I guess. Domain I did it again. You see, two. It's two spaces, not four. Son of a. Okay, let's do that again. Showtime. Yeah, we can't go to prod or prod's down. I forgot two spaces. Here we go. Okay, let's get out of here. All right. Boom. This should load up shortly. Come on, you can do it. Okay, that's normal. That's the other one. Okay, that's fine. That's the. Did I stop the tunnel or wait? Okay, no, that we're back. Okay, so I'll have to show that was a long way of me not knowing how to type YAML, and but just showing you that the policy being updated, and all of a sudden we're back. I gotta turn my fan on. All right, so that's good. And if we do the Northwind database, so I can say like MCP server, what were the sales for Vinet in 2015? So it's going to do our MCP stuff again, and I can open and close that. Okay, so there gives us the answer. And again, just to show that response streaming in, you can see it's coming in slowly. This could be running slowly, Ramsey, either because of the OpenAI API, maybe, or it's the fact that I'm doing that tunneling right now through VS Code. Maybe something's slowing down in there. But anyways, you can see here it gave us our whole thing. Now, I am curious though why the markdown is not being handled. Let's check that out. I'm gonna switch on to the main branch. So let's do check out main. I probably didn't need to stop the dev server, but now I'm gonna redo the same question, and you're gonna see what I mean. This is like my branch that had the UI fixes, but you're gonna see if I run it on the current branch, it's gonna look a lot uglier. You see, it's open and it's doing the multiple things. So that's it's just a lot of noise, but it still gives us the thing. Um, but I do want to ask, like, who are our European suppliers? And you're gonna see here, let's just bring it over. You're gonna see it's gonna stream in here. Just give it a second. You can do it, buddy. See, this is markdown, so this should be rendering as a list, and we'll check that in a second. Um, my guess is let's let it finish, I guess. But if I inspect this, okay, so it's actually good. It's a UL and a LI. So I think it's just Tailwind not doing it. But the thing is, we have the pros here, so it should do it. So edit is HTML, and I'm just gonna ask. Let's go to ChatGPT. Why with the Tailwind pros do we not get the um, list items with disks? There is no. Sorry, Ramsey's asking a question. Does it ever make a bad SQL query? Does it retry or break? Uh, I can't make it do a bad SQL query, but if it did, it would probably. I would guess it would retry. But uh, that's a good question. I feel like it would retry, but I'm not. I can't. Well, I guess I could maybe test it by like having it literally do a bad query, but I'm not going to change the MCP server at the moment. But I just want to see here. There is no styling to the unordered list here. Okay, unreset. I could have sworn I didn't need to do that. Yeah. To your point about the lagginess, Ramsey, I feel like it's OpenAI right now because even here, it's not responding super quickly. Okay, so Tailwind typography plugin expects pros UL, but if your content is server rendered or transformed and ends up inside of something unexpected, or if your pros config is overridden, it can break. Yeah, no, that I get, but let's just check here. So um, we don't need this here, but let's look at the UL here and let's see the computed and list style type is none. And this is okay, this is because of the style sheet. But still, this is in a div. Let's see here. Okay, it looks like I didn't think this was the case, but oh, the chat is also really slow. Oh, weird. Oh yeah, yeah, the chat in Chat GPT. Sorry, I thought you meant I thought you meant my internet connection. I was like, I mean, I'll double check, but speed test should be yeah, I don't know. Speeds are pretty solid. Yeah, no, it's not. Nothing on my end. I mean, I'll check the download, but oh, sorry, that's the download, but the upload. Okay, yeah, no, nothing over here. Okay, yeah, the chat is slow. I'm pretty sure it's the OpenAI API right now. Okay, so this is just bugging me because like it's set here. So let's just do this. Do, 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 do. Don't need that. It looks like the Tailwind style sheet is setting it to none. Uh, so the thing with Tailwind is like I know it strips a lot of the default stuff, but I thought when you add pros, it should just add some sensible defaults. See attached image. So let's see. Okay, because the pros plugin isn't applying list this back to it. Fix options. Yeah, I don't want to add it explicitly. Uh, do I not have the plugin maybe? Let's see here. That could make sense. Maybe I never added it. Tail. Oh wait, this is the new Tailwind config. Maybe that's why. Okay, let me zoom out for a second here. Um, and actually, there is no Tailwind config now with the latest. Oh yeah, this is Tailwind 4, so no uh, Tailwind config. Oh, okay, so I didn't know that in Tailwind 4. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so let me just get my styles there. This is my styles dot css. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that explains it because like I'd used pros before, but with Tailwind 3. So let's see what it says. Just a moment. I want to give this one the extra thought it deserves. Okay, so let's see what I got to do here. Two ways to get your bullets back. Okay, so let's add plugin. Okay, install a typography plugin. Okay, that's makes sense. Okay, there, and then I've got to add that, I guess. So let's see here. Uh, Tailwind. Okay, yeah. So let's just try this. Let's do npm install Tailwind CSS typography. Cool. npm run dev. And that should fix it. Okay, let's get rid of the dev tools. Let's ask the same question. Do, 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 do. So basically, this was something I was unaware of with Tailwind 4, I guess. So we should, once it gives us the list now, it should be styled, except I didn't ask the right question. Who are our European suppliers? There we go. Okay, so I'm going to create a bug for that. Okay, so let's do this. Let's save that and let's do this. Clear npm install. Okay, npm run dev. All right, let's do MCP app demo. Let's create an issue. Yeah, no worries, Ramsey. Take care. I'm gonna fix this up. Uh, Currently, when we render responses, they are the markdown is converted to HTML, but the pros tailwind class is not applying CSS styles it normally does. We're using Tailwind 4 and the okay, steps to fix. Add the Tailwind typography to here. To the styles.css file. Cool. All right. And so there is no longer a Tailwind config. I missed because of that. I missed installing the typography plugin. Currently, responses look like this, but they should look e.g. like this. All right, let's go to here and let's do capture history. Let's restore, copy there. Okay, and then let's come back to here. And let's ask the same question. All right. North wind, let's ask the same question. And we're going to see it not formatted. Of course, it's doing it now, but why is that? Let's just do this. Oh, I think it might still be picking this up, maybe. Who knows? Let's undo this. Cool. There we go. Alright. Okay, okay, you done? All right. So easy fix here. Okay, sign myself. It's a bug. Create. Bu- okay, let's come over here and let's do this. New branch, and we'll say tailwind missing dash tailwind typography plugin. Cool. npm install. Let's install that and let's put it here. Let's save that. We should have two things. Let's come back here. Did it install it? Hold on a sec. Okay, package JSON. Where is it? Tailwind typography. Okay. Let's do a git status because I feel like it's missing something. Is it just styles? Okay, let's do a git reset hard. G reset hard origin main. Okay, I guess I already have the. Okay, so I'm just missing that. Okay, so edit. I thought I didn't have this installed. All right. You know what? This is actually a good first issue. I'm gonna unassign it actually. It's a good opportunity for somebody to contribute. So I just want to double check though. If I go to the code, okay, I do have the typography. Okay, so let's make the issue a little more clearer. All right, let's go to issues. And let's go over to styles there. And let's just do edit. Let's do diff. And actually, let's just do this dot 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 and say add plus. How does that look? Okay, let's give spaces. So let's come back here. That should look good. There we go. Okay. Let's get some people contributing to this. Let's see here. I'm joining a Discord server. Hold on a sec. Okay, accept. Okay, that's good. Now, let me. What the heck was I doing? Oh, yeah, I want to drop this in chat. You know what? Let's put this on socials. X.com. Okay, let's see what's going on over here. Cool. That's all good. All right, let's do this. Good first issue. Um, mm, I forgot to add the Tailwind typography plugin to the style sheet. Okay. Pomerium MCP demo app. There we go. Let's do it on B Sky. Okay. And let's do this. LinkedIn, same thing. All right, cool. And I'm just gonna go post this in Discord too. Where did my Discord go? Cool. Ooh, let's see here. Just trying to figure out what channel to post this in. All right. Yeah, I guess there. User experience design. Just wondering where I should post this. Uh, I guess it's a good place. There we go. Cool. Whoa, what's all the noise here? Okay. Cool. All right, so that issue is up. Um, yeah, so if anybody's interested in that, let's put good first issue. There we go. Do, 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 do. All right, that is good. All right, yeah. So I won't fix that. That's a good one for somebody to contribute to. It's also just something to mention about in general about open source. Getting people into the projects. Like I can obviously fix that. I already know what the issue is, but I've just outlined it and hopefully somebody just getting into open source or looking for a contribution more related to front end stuff. It's a nice little thing to fix. Okay, cool. Okay, I think how long we been on here? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Kubernetes SIG security meeting. I don't know if I can make that. Uh, I'm trying to get into Kubernetes still, and I've just been really busy with MCP stuff. But yeah, I think I'm gonna hop off now. Thanks for hanging, peeps, and we will see you in the next one. Should be back Monday. Um, who knows? Maybe I'll stream later today too. I don't know. I don't know. Uh, if I don't see you again today, have a great weekend, peeps, and see you in the next one.